So what you're looking at is the members area, right? Thank you, Jeff. And again, I'm slightly flummoxed because I have been, I'm trying not to say bad words. Having a slight technological, what would we call it? Perfect storm. But anyway, so yeah, you would see different products. I mean, this is one of my test accounts, and whatever products you bought from me, they would be in here. So in the members area, of course, and you probably already done this. Oh, you bet, Jeff. You bet. Hopefully, my goal with this webinar is to sort of cut through the mustard with Press Release Empire. You got a ton of stuff, and it can be it can be quite overwhelming. And my goal here is to cut through the mustard and give you a really clear path to turning this into a client machine, a money machine, right? There you go, Richard. So Richard, if I were logging in as you right here, okay, see where it says log out, so I'm logged in. Now I'm logging in as one of my test accounts, and these are the quote unquote purchases in this test account. But you would see your purchase, and then you would click on this right here, okay? And so what we would do is where it says bonuses, let's just click on that. See where I clicked down here? Look. Press Release Empire, access your content, bonuses. That takes you to this page. And right here will be replaced by this recording. And if you would give me like 24 hours or so to get the recording up there, then usually I can do it a little faster than that, Richard, but today's unusual. So if you'd give me 24 hours to get it up there and get it put in there, then that would be great. Probably will be up there faster than that. So here we are. Now let's talk about this. So we're looking at Press Release Empire, and you got 3 tabs here: the training, the software, and the bonuses, including this webinar. And let's click on the training here. Because really the deal is this, guys. So, and most of you have probably already been through the training. And if you haven't, then, go through it. But if you will notice, we've got several ways. Yeah, Richard, I understand. Yeah, you're going to hold on to that thought. I'll get to that in a second. It's a wonderful question. But I've actually researched that. And see, Richard, it'll be there, buddy. Appreciate your hanging on while I got through all my little technical nightmare. But anyway, so I'll get to you in a sec. But so yeah, so basically with Press Release Empire, the whole goal is to sell press releases, right? But instead of just telling you, hey, here's a press release, here's how you get one written, here's where you publish, the best places to publish it and all that. I'm really, really big on telling people, showing people, teaching people how to actually make money with this stuff. Because, in my view, if you can't make money with this stuff, why in God's name are you doing it, right? I mean, you guys are here in various stages of your offline marketing career, newbies, got some experience, something along that spectrum, and the goal is to sell stuff. So that's why for me, the selling stuff part is like the huge part of the training, because if you can't sell it and make money, again, it could be interesting, it could be cool, but that's really, I mean, for me, when I buy information products and training and stuff, I really want to know how to go about making money. So that's why I stress the making money part. So you basically got LinkedIn, ways to get clients. So let's count them. LinkedIn, which I go over in great detail. Network meetings, 2, okay. your past and present customers. Now, some of you on here don't have any past and present customers, okay? But some of you do have past and present customers, 3. And then Fiverr and Upwork, 4. So that is a little overwhelming, I would think, unless you've been doing this for a while, okay? In this webinar, we're going to focus on the how to get clients part. And so what I want to do is I want to take this sort of overabundance of ways to get clients, and we're going to basically take this little notepad file here, and I'm going to show you how to just sort of cut through the mustard and lets you understand exactly what you have to do in order to make this work in a really, really streamlined way. In other words, I want to sort of reduce the complexity for you so that you can get your marching orders, go out tomorrow, actually start doing the stuff that you need to do and quit doing the stuff that you don't need to do so that you end up with clients. Now, before we do that, Jurgen has a little question. He's talking about the done for you materials. Another thing, Lee, I would buy the book. He's talking about the PLR book, but chances are that tens of thousands of people are publishing the same edited book. You know, I have sold a few PLR books with products recently, and I got really, really interested in that. And so I got on Amazon and just started snooping around. Now, again, this is not 100% foolproof, okay? But I got on Amazon, just started snooping around, and I can pretty well tell when you publish a book on Amazon on Kindle, it also has the ability for you to read, you know, the first, I've forgotten what percentage of the book it is, 5%, 10%, 20%, something like that. So I could see enough of the published books to see who was publishing this exact PLR book verbatim. And you know, so somebody could have published it under a category I didn't think about. I know a fair amount about Kindle. Okay, so it's yeah, yeah. Okay, Austin, thank you so much. Yeah, and my technological my technical issues continue to plague me today. So thank you so much. I don't know what it is, and maybe the moon's in some sort of weird phase, or maybe God just hates me today. I have no clue. But anyway, yeah. So we will work our way through the technical stuff. But anyway, so I was saying, and this was an answer to Jurgen's question. Jurgen, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I found one instance of it's a blue moon tonight. Yeah, well, Marshall says it's a blue moon tonight. What's that? A second full moon in a month or something? But so, Jurgen, I found one instance of the book being published, and I did a fair amount of looking around, just hunting around different keywords. I found one instance. Now that doesn't mean that there weren't a few more, but it's not like there's a zillion of them, right? So Jurgen, I think your fear is totally understandable that the book gets overpublished. Yeah, I don't really see a lot of people doing that. Okay, I mean, I would love to see it, frankly, because then I would know I would have a better sense that what I'm selling people is besides people just buying it and thinking, oh my God, that's cool, but that they're actually using it to make money. Unfortunately, what I saw on that was just one. I just found one instance of it being published. But again, people could have had it rewritten, which is totally fair and really is not addressing the issue that you're talking about. So I think you're good there. So let's get back to this. So what I want to do is I want to talk about two ways for you to start building a prospecting machine, because that's really what we're talking about. We're going to talk about, and this is my GoToWebinar backend, which probably is going to be meaningless to you, LinkedIn. And we're going to be talking about Meetup. And let's look at BNI. And let's also look at Chamber of Commerce. Now, this is Atlanta. I mean, you would go for the Chamber of Commerce wherever you are, right? So let's look at these 4 tabs. We will look at these in a minute. Let me get back to my members area here. But what I want to do is I just want to help simplify this for you. And I want to help you understand what kinds of activities you should be doing, and especially what kind of activities you shouldn't be doing, so that you can actually make this work and start getting business right very, very rapidly. So let's look at LinkedIn first. So what we want to do is, let me just move this up here where I can type on it. So what we want to do is, I'm simplifying the LinkedIn stuff for you, okay? So let's just talk about the steps that you need to take in order to start getting business from LinkedIn. Number 1, you need an account and profile, right? And I believe, yep, look, the profile has a profile summary. We're going to go look at my LinkedIn account in just a second. And if you want to see an example of a really good profile summary, which was mine, written by software that we developed, by the way, if you want to see an example of a profile summary and messaging, click here in the members area and it will download a PDF to your computer, and you can, yeah. Steve's got a quick question. Why doesn't the software publish the press release? No reason to do that. I mean, why? There are like 40 million places to publish press releases. I didn't really feel that I wanted to compete with that. I wanted to give you something. So Steve, the goal here is to sell press releases to businesses, right? And so that means your client is going to pay for the publication, okay? So since the client's paying for the publication, and I go over all this in the training, and you yourself are basically making a profit, the revenue of the sale being the big number that you quote the client minus your expenses, i.e. your publication expenses, I see no reason to do that. Okay, that's not helpful, because there are only like 40 million places to publish press releases. Most of them suck, Steve, frankly. I mean, most of them are crap, which is why in this training I tell you about one, which is one of the few that I know of that's not crap, but it's not the only place. But so, Steve, that's the rationale behind that. The goal with the press release software was to give you something that will actually write a press release or coach you through writing a press release, so that would be a press release that will actually get read and will actually get clicks back to whatever your client is paying you for. So that was the goal behind the software. So anyway, LinkedIn. So let's talk about what we need. We need an account and a profile, okay? Well, once you get an account and a profile summary and all that stuff, and we're going to look at my account in just a second, you're going to need connections with people, okay? In other words, you need to be connected with people. You can search people on LinkedIn. I mean, it's kind of like Facebook in a way. A lot different, but the basic idea, I mean, you can search people on LinkedIn, but it's really difficult to actually message them, which is how LinkedIn marketing works. It's through the messaging process. It's really difficult to actually message them if you're not connected with them. You can use a thing called an InMail, and you get, I've forgotten how many InMails per month according to your level of subscription, free, or where they have Sales Navigator or something. But that can get pretty expensive. And if you're going to do a significant amount of messaging, which if you want a lot of business, you're going to be doing a significant amount of messaging, you really need to be connected with the person. Furthermore, like when somebody messages me, okay, I mean, I'm aware of whether they're directly connected with me or they're not directly connected with me. So if they're directly connected with me, then they're like in my world, they're one of my connections. And I give that message more weight. I pay attention to it more. Somebody who's not connected with me at all, just sending me an InMail out of the blue, I mean, it doesn't upset me, but it's probably not something I'm interested in. It's probably spam. And so you're going to, in order to make this happen, you're going to have connections with people. The next thing you need to do for LinkedIn marketing is start messaging your connections. And then of those who answer, you need to tell them about your service. That's how LinkedIn marketing works, okay? And you can get an amazing amount of business. And I'm just, paraphrasing what the training tells you. You can get an amazing amount of business by doing this. So let's go over to LinkedIn and let's talk about those. Okay, so here I am, and this profile is written from the point of view of our software business. Now, one really, really important thing that I want you to see. Do you see this number down here, 500 plus? So that's telling people how many people I'm connected with. Except I'm connected with a ton more than 500 people. I'm connected with quite a bit over 6,000 people. I think I can actually see the number when I click on my network here. Yeah. So that's my real number of connections, 6,200. But when I click here, it says 500. So the way LinkedIn works is LinkedIn will report exactly the number of people you're connected with directly up to 500. And then it just says 500 plus. So if I were connected to 396, that number right there would be 396. If I were connected to 499, that would be 499. If I were connected to 500, it would say 500. But if I'm connected to 501, 502, 503, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, it says 500 plus. Really, as a rule of thumb, you want to get your connections up above 500. Otherwise, you just really don't look that serious. Okay, I mean it's part of the way the LinkedIn mentality works. You really look like you're just not a big networker. Remember, LinkedIn it's very much like a virtual version of something like a Chamber of Commerce meeting. That's what it's for, right? And if you're not a very well-connected person, why would someone necessarily want to connect with you? Because it's kind of like, I don't want to connect with you because you're not really doing me much good. We call people who are connected to a lot of people in LinkedIn lingo, we call those super connectors. You want to look like a super connector. So not only do you want to look like a super connector, but you actually want to be a super connector. Let me show you why. It's actually, so this is the search bar. Okay, so we're going to click here. Hold on. Now, this is currently a free account. I sort of I get a premium account for a few months when I'm really working LinkedIn a lot to get a lot of business, but I don't have to pay for that all year long because I get so much business from it. I can get so much business from a premium account in a couple of months from LinkedIn that, that will feed my business for the next several months. And then I, deactivate the premium account and go with my free account. So this is currently a free account, okay? Because I've got basically too much business from this. But anyway, I went here and I clicked on people and it came to this tab, right? And I'm seeing all of these results, and let's look at these filters. So I can filter, actually it'd probably be easier to hit that. Do you see where I hit that, where it said all filters? So this is not too helpful for us, filtering by name. And you can do some filtering with a free account. You can see how you can filter that. But really I want you to look at right here. I want you to look at where it says first connections, second connections, and third connections. Now, again, in LinkedIn lingo, a first connection is someone to whom you are directly connected. All right, so if I hit first connections and apply that, you're going to see, I don't know why that says 5820 as opposed to 62, but anyway, see this guy, Anthony? He's a first, what we call a first or first tier connection. He is a direct connection. And notice I can message him. All right, I have the ability to message him. So let's go back to all filters and let's hit second connections. So when we hit first connections, I was connected to about 5,800 people. Second connections. So these are my indirect connections. So I'm going to use a couple of names from our webinar, okay, guys? So just so I can talk about things in reality. So let's say that Jürgen is a first or first tier or a direct connection of mine. That's all saying the same thing. Jürgen and I are directly connected. And let's say Jürgen is connected to Marshall. But I am not directly connected to Marshall. So you see that Marshall is 1 degree of separation away from me. I got to go through Jürgen to get to Marshall, right? If you were drawing this like on a little tree, like you did back in computer science or something. Well, notice when I filtered and searched for my direct connections, I had 5,800, which is a bunch of people. And now when I search for my indirect connections, I have close to 1 million, which is a ton more people. This is extremely important. Now notice that where it said message for my first tier connections, here it says connect. So I can invite Chris to accept my connection. Whereas before, I should probably have opened, let's do this. Let's see if this will work so we can compare these two. And then let's just go back to, you can also do this as a pull down, okay? Whoops, I don't want third. Okay, so let's get them in order. First tier, second tier. Direct, indirect, okay? So first tier connections, 5,800. I can message these guys. I want to talk to Anthony, send him a message. Look, I can do it. It's right there. Second tier connections. I can't send Chris a message. I can send him an email. Okay, again, but you get a very limited number of those, and you need to be doing a lot more of what I'm teaching you right now. This covered, again, is covered in the training, but I'm trying to sort of simplify it for you. But I can't message Chris in the same way that I could message Anthony. But I can ask him if he wants to get connected. Okay? So he's a senior sports entertainment marketing executive. And so I could go here, right? Yeah, Jurgen, thank you so much. And that was my next point. Jurgen's saying you can message, but with a connection request. Yes. So, and we'll, if I have, yeah, and we'll see this here in a minute on my account. So notice with this guy, Chris, who's kind of fuzzed out right now, but there was Chris, and it said connect here. I clicked that. And so then I come here to this, okay? And you know, you could just say, send a generic, hey, I'd like to connect with you request, which a lot of people do, and that's really not the best way to do it. Or you could say, you could just get rid of, well, shoot. You could get rid of that and type your own message, okay? Where it says, well, actually, you add a note now. So right here, type your own message here, okay? So you could say, hey, Chris, and then type something a little more personal, and then send the invitation. So let me show you how to do that. So that's important because people receive, let me show you what it looks like to actually receive a connection request. So see these three people, so this is my account, these three people where it says invitations, these people have sent me connection requests, okay? So I've got a connection request from Karen. Let's just hit manage all. And notice Karen didn't really say anything, right? And I can accept this or ignore it. It's going to look a lot better if Karen's like, like reaching out to me in a more personal way, all right? And none of these people currently are. So, you know, on the recipient's end, then people decide to accept your connect request. I have no idea what that's about. Or they ignore it, okay? And I'm gonna, you know, it's not gonna hurt this guy when I ignore it. I'll show you this, but I could just ignore it. And you know, you want people that you're sending these connection requests to, these second tier connection, these second tier indirect connections, okay, like this guy, you want to maximize the number of people that are accepting your connect request. Because again, your goal is to build this out at least over 500, better if over 2,000. I think that was 20,000, but 2,000, okay? We'll save this and I'll pop it in the members area for you, these little notes that we're writing. Now you may think that, God knows, I mean, you know, if you're just starting out and you've got 50 or 100 or 200, Rick, hold on to that thought. If you got 50 or 100, you know, you're just starting out, you're connected with a few people. You may think that, oh my God, getting to 2,000, that's a ton of folks. You know, how is that going to work? How long is that going to take me? Well, several years ago when I first started using LinkedIn, I was connected to I think it's like 187 people. And this is before I knew what I was doing. and I took some training, actually from a friend of mine, and realized that I learned what you're learning here, or the version of it that was applicable a few years ago. And I realized that, oh my God, I need to be connected to a bunch of people. So I just sat down. Yeah, Chris, I got you, buddy. I just sat down and decided, well, I'm going to get over 500. It took me less than a week to get over 500. Okay. I mean, it's amazing how fast this builds. There's a reason for this. Okay. And Rick, I'll get to your question in just a sec. There's a reason for this. Again, LinkedIn is a virtual network meeting. It's like a virtual Chamber of Commerce meeting. Okay, here's the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. And all of these people are very interested in being connected to more people. See, now that guy, Tony, that we had, I ignored. Normally, I would have accepted his connect request. There you go. So Ty says 4 weeks ago, I had 85 connections, took your advice on local client machine every day, connected to 5 or 10. I now have 125 connections. Excellent. That's excellent. So Ty, so here's Ty, who's connecting with a very, very limited number of people. 5 to 10 is a good way to start, but you don't have to keep it at that level for a month. Okay, you can start. Guys, if you're connecting with no one, you don't want to just be spamming the place and starting to connect with, let's say, 100 to 200 people, sending out connect requests to 100 or 200 people a day. I mean, look, I've got close to 1 million people to connect with. Even with 85, you're going to have, I don't know, 1,000 or so. Let's say each of your 85 is connected to 10, that would give you 850 possibilities for you to send connect requests to, okay? So, Ty, you can easily ramp this up, safely ramp this up to about 50 a day. Yeah, to the Ty. So guys, if you've just started, or LinkedIn, you know, as you've been dormant on LinkedIn for a long time, no, don't start out at 50 a day right off the bat. Do, let's say, 5 or 10 a day for 2 or 3 days, and then ramp it up to 10, you know, 15 or 20, and then ramp it up to 20 to 25, and get it up to about 50. All right. I made an experiment one time. Now, granted, this was a few years ago, because see, I'm connected to so many people that people actually seek me out to connect with me, because I'm a super connector, right? And because they want to connect with me, because if you connect with me and then suddenly you've added this, from your point of view, you've added close to 6,000 people to this number right here. That's a big deal, right? So, I decided to make a little experiment, and you know, I'd ramped up. You know, I was doing fine connecting to about 50 people a day. Okay, and I said, well, what if I push it up to 100 a day? So I pushed it up to 100 a day. Worked fine for about a week, and then about 10 days in, LinkedIn sent me a very politely worded little thing saying, well, I mean, essentially they were telling me that I can't connect to that many people. You know. And they kind of they put me in sort of a baby LinkedIn jail. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. You know, they didn't remove any privileges for a long time, just for a couple of days. I mean, they just really wanted to get my attention. And so then what I did was I just sort of let, you know, so I'd made my experiment. I wanted to see where the ceiling was. I wanted to see how fast I could push this. So I kind of let it sit for a week or so, you know, just to kind of appease the LinkedIn gods. And then I went back to about 50 a day and went on and built out my account that way. And once I got to, the reason I say here is ideally over about, there are a couple of reasons over about 2,000. Once I got to about 1,000, then I started naturally attracting more people who wanted to connect with me. Why do you attract people who want to connect with you? Because your content, you show up in more searches, right? Everybody else, guys, there are literally, this is not a mistake. There are 500 million with a B LinkedIn users. LinkedIn is very, very vigilant. Unlike Twitter or somebody, LinkedIn is very vigilant about fake accounts or accounts run by bots and things like that. I mean, but I've tried it. Okay, it doesn't work. They can sniff it out and they'll just shut down the whole thing. But anyway, excuse me for the cough. We're having spring here in Atlanta, and in Atlanta in spring, the whole world on the outside is colored this sort of a green pollen color, and that's kind of gotten into my chest a little bit. I apologize. But anyway, so the bottom line is 50 is safe, Ty, and if you do 50 every single day, you're going to get a ton of those people accepting your connect request. The bigger you build out your connections, the more people that are going to start finding you and saying, hey, I want to be connected with you, right? And that doesn't subtract from the 50. You just have your 50 outbound connect requests, and those others are icing on the cake. And you will be amazed at how fast you can get up to 1,000 or 2,000. Now, why do you want to get up to 1,000 or 2,000? You want to get up to 1,000 or 2,000 because when you get up to 1,000 or 2,000, see, these are my second tier connections. And then I can do things like car. Let's look at car dealers. That should work. Darn it. Okay, that's been moved. LinkedIn has made a lot of changes over the past little while. I might have to clear that. But anyway, once you know, and again, this is not a premium account. This is a free account. About 6 months ago, 8 months ago, approximately, LinkedIn took away a lot of capabilities of searching on free accounts. But anyway, once you get up to like 1,000 or 2,000, then you can start searching. You can start narrowing down on specific niches, and you can start. Let's say that you want to. Let's say that you want to. Here we go. Okay, so let's say that you want to. Let's do this. Let's do it this way then. Okay. So here, did you see what I just did? I had to go back. It wouldn't do it when I had second tier connections here. But I went back to all my connections. I popped in car dealerships. I mean, let's say for some reason that I want to approach car dealerships. So LinkedIn is finding all of the second tier connections that have where the profile summary. Okay, so that would be. Let's open another tab and get real clear on this. This thing is the profile summary. These are the headlines where the profile summary or the headlines have the word car dealerships in them. And here I am connected to 13 second tier connections. So if I wanted to build out a specialty in that niche, okay, and you could do this with any niche if you get up to a few thousand. If I wanted to build out a specialty in that niche, I'm going to start connecting with these guys. Now think about the logic of this. If I connect with this guy, Tony, and you may think, well, 13 is not that much. Yeah, I understand. But if I connect with this guy, Tony, and I connect with Brent, and I connect with Steven, and I connect with Tina, and I connect with Amon and Mr. T, Azuz, and all these people, okay? Drew, whatever, because they have the words car dealerships in their profile, Tony, I have no idea what Tony does, current business owner, Precision Alloy Wheel Repair. The guy is in the car business, right? Well, do you think Tony's going to be connected to a bunch of people in the car business? I can guarantee you Tony's connected to a bunch of people in the car business. So after you get up to 2,000 and you decide that you want to start specializing in various niches. Rick says, click, see his profile. Well, he's connected to 500 plus, right? You know, you decide to, you want to, look, he was a business owner, Precision Alloy Wheel, did car sales or parts sales for that company, various car dealerships, you know, the guy's in the car business, right? And Tony here is going to be connected to a bunch of people in the car business. So let's say that I want to specialize in the car business for whatever reason. I just plucked that name out of that idea of a hat. But let's say I want to, you know, I want to approach those kinds of businesses. Well, you just start out, and once you get up to a few thousand, and you can, it'll happen with 1 or 2,000 according to what you're putting in here. And you might want to play around with the words car dealerships, car dealer, car dealership, singular. Okay. Let's pop that in and see what happens. Actually, let's clear that. Let's go back here where we were. Yep, so car dealership. All right, and let's pop that in. And why won't that work? Probably because I didn't hit return. Yeah, auto dealer, Rick, thank you so much. That would be a good one. See, I say car dealership singular. Now let's do second tier connections. 16, I got some more. And look, these names are pretty much all pretty different, right? So I got, this guy does RV stuff, owner, channel, agents, or whatever that is, leasing consultant, sells cars, account manager, probably for a car company. See, these people are connected to more car people, right? Let's put Rick's auto dealer in here. Okay, so when we put Rick's idea of auto dealer in here, right? Notice I get a ton more. I got 52 now, and I'm not seeing, again, I'm not seeing any of the same names. So what was the last one? 16? I forgot. 16, 13, 29, 52. I'm getting close to 100 people who are connected with the words car dealership, singular and plural, and auto dealer. And Rick, we could put auto dealers in. Usually the singular works better on LinkedIn because, I mean, just think about it from the point of view of your profile. If I were an auto dealer, would I use the word auto dealers in here? Would I say auto dealers? You know, usually people describe themselves in the singular. You are an auto dealer, singular. But let's see what this does, if any. Okay, that gave me even more, and I think we've seen this guy Andrew twice. I think we've seen Adam before. So we're up to approximately maybe 150 or 200, something like that. Yeah, that could be Jürgen. Yeah, 150, 200, something like that. This is good. I mean, let's say with this 100, right? 108, and let's say you send out all these connect requests. So guys, I'm telling you, once you get going on connecting, then that would be like 2 days of, I mean, you can send out 50 connect requests in, 2 or 3 hours if you do it right. You know, in other words, if you're thinking a little bit about how to connect with these people, right? Okay, just not sending out the generic, hey, I want to connect with your request, but actually writing them a little note. How do you write them a note? Well, you go here. Let's say I were interested in connecting to auto people. I would just check out Andrew's, Andrew's profile, which apparently doesn't have much in it, which is okay. And do you see here, the guy's only connected with 254 people? I mean, that's peanuts in the world of LinkedIn. But, it is what it is. So Says he's an auto dealer at UI Auto. I have no idea what UI Auto is. Let's go down here and see if we can figure out what UI Auto is. Guys, if any of you provide LinkedIn services to people, write Andrew's name down. He needs help. But, you know, I would just do my best. I mean, do my best to find some commonality just with Andrew, just as if you were going to a meeting, a meetup meeting or a BNI meeting or a Chamber of Commerce meeting, you wouldn't just walk in and just start talking to people about stupid stuff. You would find some kind of commonality. I mean, you just think about normal human interaction. That's the way LinkedIn works. It's normal human interaction. I personally live in the Atlanta area, so if I were going to connect with them, I'd say, hey, Andrew, you know, it's Lee, live in the Atlanta area, trying to increase my number of local connections. You know, would love to know a little more about, you know, what you do in the auto business. Yeah, just something like that, something very generic, very safe, and very open. If you approach connecting with people in that spirit, you'd be amazed at, let's say you, in 2 days, you sent out all 108 of these. I mean, you're going to get a ton of them, 30, 40, 50, 60%-ish. Not all of them come in the next day, right? I mean, so these kind of take a while to filter in. But you would get something on that order of people connected with you in the same business. Do you see this? So, number one, but you can't do this if you're not connected with anybody. Okay, like poor Andrew here is only connected to 254 people. It'd be tough for him to do this. He doesn't have enough the exponentiality, the exponential mathematics of this is not working in his favor, right? He's not going to be connected to that many people as an indirect connection, a second tier connection to do this. So do your connections with people, get at least over 500 so you don't look like you're like lost on LinkedIn like Andrew does. So that you look like this guy, I believe is Tony. Yep, here's Tony. He's over 500. Tony could have, you can have up to 30,000 direct connections. Tony could have 30,000 or he could have 501. I can't tell. And it really doesn't matter because it says 500 plus. But do that. Get yourself up to at least 500. It would be better if you kept at that, what Ty and I were talking about, you kept at that same level of connecting with about 50, connecting with about 50, connecting with about 50, until you got this up to whether you were at least 1,000 or 2,000. Now, if you're really serious, you're going to make this a part of your day, which is just sending out connect requests. I don't have to do this anymore. I'm connected to so many people that they just come to me. Or I mean, I get a few every day. I had actually logged into LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday, and just accepted a bunch of people who had found me, right? I do that because I'm interested in growing my connections. I just do it in a more passive way because, frankly, I don't need to do that. You need to do this. You need to build out your connections. But once you get to 1,000, yeah, you can do that, Rick. I'm trying to give people a number one, an understanding of how this works. Okay, number one, an understanding of how this works, because I'll read y'all what Rick said in just a second. I'm trying to give people an understanding of the mathematics of how, because this is just mathematics, the mathematics of how this works, right? Yeah, you can do that, Jürgen. Just so that people understand how, you know, the sort of the LinkedIn world and how to actually work LinkedIn. But Rick says you can go to a place called TopLinked, that's spelled TOPLINKED, TopLinked, and get a paid plan. And basically what you're doing is you're paying to have your LinkedIn account, your profile, your URL, you're paying to have that included in a thing sent out, I think, every week or every month. I've forgotten. Linked. And here we go. This place right here, TopLinked. Okay. This place, you can pay here, you can sign up and they will send you a thing I used to do this, okay, but this was a few years ago, and so I've forgotten the frequency, but they will send you a thing. I think maybe it's once a month or maybe once a week. I don't know. But anyway, they'll send you a thing which you can actually weekly. Thank you, Rick. I haven't needed to pay attention to this in a long time, but they will send you a thing, basically a list of people who pay to be included, or you can just pay to be included, and that way every week your thing gets sent out to a whole ton of people, and then you got a whole bunch of people who want to rapidly expand their connections, connecting, sending you requests to connect with them. So if you want to grow this faster, use Top Linked. That's certainly true. I want to, I want to make sure you understand how this actually works, but also give you a completely free way of doing it. I did Top Linked a little bit myself when I started out, but honestly, my account grew so fast. Once I sat down and purposefully built out the account, my account grew so fast that I didn't really even have to do Top Linked anymore. Now, once you get to the point that you have enough connections, and that's at least 500, I would encourage you to get it up to 1,000 or 2,000 and then keep on building it. But once you get to that point, then you need to start messaging your connections. So what are you guys selling? You guys are, in this course, you're selling press releases. So messaging your connections is not spamming. I wish that I had I get one of these. God, it seems like every day. Messages. Oh, okay, look at this. This is a great example. I actually had to disconnect myself from this person. I mean, spam does not bother me, okay? I mean, it's not really spam, but what people call spam, which is unsolicited people trying to connect with me or trying to send me a some sort of message about their thing and what they do. That doesn't bother me, okay? Except I thought Kajal, whoever this is, someone that I was connected with, was doing it a little too frequently. So look, this isn't a great example of what not to do, okay? So on the 13th of March, today's the 30th of March, Kajal sends me this whole thing. I mean, this whole thing about low-cost app development. And, I might be interested in that because I'm moving my business more toward creating software, except I'm not interested in that with Kajal because of the way that she's approaching me. I find this very off-putting, and so do most people, as in 98% of them on LinkedIn. So on the 13th, she sends me a thing that I didn't agree that she should send me, right? And I don't know her. We were connected, but you saw I'm connected to like 6,000 other people. So how do I know who she is, right? And then on the 20th, so what do we got? A week later, oh, gee. She's saying, still, I'm waiting for your reply. Fine, I don't mind the English being weird, but I mean, just tell me, hey, dude, why didn't you reply? That's not cool. This is not good business. And on the 23rd, 3 days later, still, I'm waiting for your reply. Okay. I mean, this is getting slightly, I'm a hard person to annoy, really. And this is getting slightly annoying. Yeah, right. But that's not what we're talking about. So, and then Wednesday, right? Wednesday, what's like 2 days ago, a second reminder, quite busy and blah, blah, blah. And I finally had to just disconnect myself from Kajal because, I mean, I thought the whole thing was stupid. Guys, that is not how to do this. Not. So the way to do this is this. Okay, so let's say you got the ball rolling, you're building out your account, and now you want to start actually doing the next step, which is getting in touch with people with whom you're connected. Okay, so these would be your first tier connections. Let's get rid of auto dealers. And let's go here to first, get rid of second, apply that. And that didn't do that. Okay, I thought I got rid of auto dealers. Let's try this. Maybe if I just clear everything. God, you know, I mean, LinkedIn used to be so simple to use, which is okay. So let's do this. So without anything in the search bar, first tier connections, hit apply. Okay, this is driving me nuts. Okay, I'm trying to speed up the webinar a little bit, but I didn't want results for auto dealer. I don't know, is it going to make me start all over again? Search for people. If anybody from Microsoft is listening, y'all made this harder to use. First. Okay, so apparently I had to just open a new window and start, or open a new tab and start all over again. But anyway, so let's say I built out my account and now I got a bunch of people that I can start actually messaging. Now these are first tier connections. I can message them right here beyond the message that I send with the connect request. So somebody said, well, gee, you can message people with the connect request. Yeah, you can do that, but if you make your pitch in that in that message, in other words, if I go back to my second tier connections and hit connect and I make my pitch, I'm just pulling a name. Rick, I'm gonna use your name. Rick, I know you know better than to do this anyway, but you know, let's say I hit connect and I say, hey, this is Rick with XYZ company. We provide a blah, 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 and a blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah. And quite frankly, you can get a blah, blah return on your blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Please see our website at blah, 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 blah. By the way, we've got these great customer testimonials, blah, 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 blah. I mean, these messages that you get from people on LinkedIn are like, I mean, you'll open it up and it'll go from like here all the way down to there, scroll, 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 and then you got to read. And that's utterly stupid because nobody got my permission to send that to me. And again, I'm really easy to get along with. I don't get bent out of shape. It's just that it's stupid. I don't know who the hell you are. I don't know why in the hell you want to talk to me in the first place. And then you're sending me this big long ass thing about something that right now I don't care about. And that is not the way to do it. So that's why with the connect request, when you're requesting a connection, we keep that message personal, short, and sweet. And that is also why as you build out your account and build out your first tier connections, as you do that, and then you want to message these people, you're going to do it on a very, very personal way. I mean, think about this. If you went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, would you walk in the door and let's say you've got a giant pitch memorized? Would you walk in the door, walk up to the first person and say, hi, I see your name is Mary Smith with XYZ company. Hi, my name's Lee Cole. I'm with, ABC company, and we have a blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah with a blah, blah return on your blah, blah, blah. And check out, if you don't mind, just let me hand you my phone and you read all those wonderful customer testimonials and a blah, 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 and a blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah. I mean, seriously, you just walked up to the woman. What do you think she's going to think? She's going to be like, dude, who the hell are you and why are you telling me all this, right? Okay, so what you would do in person, which is not do that, I hope, is what you would do on LinkedIn. And just because LinkedIn's virtual and just because somebody can't look at you funny and tell you to get lost, I mean, they can, but just because they're not there in person does not mean that you act like a complete idiot on LinkedIn. Although most people marketing on LinkedIn act like complete idiots. Not everybody, but most. So what you do with Anthony is this is how you start a conversation. Okay, so what is Anthony? He's an independent internet marketer. You go look at their profile. He has no profile summary. Bad. Go look at their profile, and I mean, his profile is really, really skimpy, isn't it? Internet marketing specialist. He's been doing this 8 years and 4 months. He does PPC marketing. I'm guessing that's video marketing, email marketing, or student marketing tools. Okay, so how many people? He's connected 307 people. See, he looks really, really not like a player, so he's really not going to get my attention anyway. But if I wanted to message him, he lives in Marietta, Georgia, I would find some commonality. Okay, so he's in internet marketing, find some commonality. He's been doing this for 8 years. Where's my thing where, I would just write him a little message. Hey, Anthony, obviously I can't type. How long is it? Yeah, it's about 12 years now. That kind of thing, right? Okay, that's the kind of thing. You want to find a commonality. It's just like you went to a party, just like you went to one of your kids' birthday parties with some, or took your kids to a birthday party with some friend, and there were a bunch of other parents there. I mean, you're not going to just throw up on the person, right? Okay, an efficient networker finds a commonality, all right? And so the first thing you want to do is you want to send something very safe, something not personal in the sense of we shouldn't talk about personal things, but you want to keep it on the personal level. We both live in the same area, we're both kind of sort of in the same business kind of thing, and you want to send that to the person. So you want to send them something very safe, very generic, and very easy for them to respond to. So send safe message. Okay, now not everybody's going to contact you back. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I got about 30% chance that Anthony, I'm especially with his small number of connections. Anthony's not a big user of LinkedIn, I don't think, unless he just got on recently. Okay, he could have got on recently and maybe he's building out his account, but I don't know. His account's not really built out too well. So I'm guessing I got about a 20 or 30% chance of Anthony actually seeing this and answering me and getting back with me. But once he does, once you get an answer, then very politely pitch your deal. Okay, so, and I'm just going to write that here. Let's say Anthony said, yeah, Lee, great to meet you. Been doing internet marketing and blah, blah, blah. He's continuing the conversation, right? Once the fact that we are talking gets established, then you're going to say something like, glad to hear all that. Let's say Anthony told me something interesting. Glad to hear all that. By the way, I help businesses and individuals like you with press release marketing. If you're interested, I'd be happy to send you some more information about this. This is an essential step. Okay, so look, what I'm looking for here before I actually send something over, and if you bought the done for you stuff, you got plenty of stuff to send over. Jurgen, you can just send him a copy of the book, okay, if you want to. There's tons of other stuff to send. But anyway, but before I really make my big pitch, I want to get permission. I want to get the recipient's permission to actually talk to them. It's going to save time, like a ungodly amount of time, because otherwise you're going to be pitching your thing kind of like this, what was her name? Kajal? This poor girl, Kajal, was pitching to me, and I mean, not only did I not care, but it made me care less the way she did it, right? So once you get the person's permission, then you want to, this is when you send them right here, of those who answer, of those who say, Yeah, go ahead and send me the information. I am kind of sort of interested in this, or at least they're allowing you to send them some information. That's when you really want to pitch them about your service. So at this point, when you get when you get an answer back, okay. So send if you bought the PLR material, send the book. You just pop that up on send them to your send them to your squeeze page. Okay, you'll get fewer people taking you up on that, obviously, because they got to give you your email address, but that's fine. Send them to your squeeze page, send them to a PDF that you might have, or send them a PDF that you might have, etc. Okay, and include a slight pitch to get on a quick exploratory phone call with you. So that's what you want to do. The exploratory phone call is 15 minutes. So I now get to talk to Anthony. I want to know if Anthony, politely, of course, I want to know if Anthony's real, if he's ready, willing, and able, if he's real, if he's got cash, if he's ready to, pull the cord right now, at which point I will get him on a sales presentation and actually do a complete sales presentation for him. Okay, so the next step after that would be sales presentation. This part from here on down, generally people don't screw this up too much. The part that people screw up really, really bad on LinkedIn is right there. Okay. I mean, virtually everybody who tries to market on LinkedIn just dumps a lot of crap on your head without your permission. Not cool. Doesn't really work. Yeah, it works some, but the numbers that you're doing have to be so huge that if you would do it my way, you'll save a ton of time and you will end up with people on your sales presentations who are actually really quite interested in what you're doing. So what you need to do, we're going to get to network meetings in a minute, which are really nothing more than an in-person version of this exact same thing. But what you need to do if you want to use LinkedIn, which I highly recommend you do, I literally can get so much business per unit time for LinkedIn that I can turn this on to premium. The reason you use premium is because you get much greater search capability, okay? But I can turn that on to premium for a couple of months. I can get really purposeful about prospecting on LinkedIn. I can get a whole ton of new clients, and then I can turn it off because honestly, I don't need that many more. So that's how you use LinkedIn. So what you need to do, you need to see where you are in this process. Do you have an account and a profile? If you don't, you need to get one. Do you have connections with over 500 people? If not, you need to do what when Ty and I were talking earlier in the webinar, you need to go through that process and build out your accounts, and then you need to get it over 1,000 or 2,000. I got rid of the URL here for some reason, but if you want to speed up that process, use TopLinked, TOPLINKED.com, okay? As you build this out, in other words, let's say after you get over 500, start messaging these people. And look, don't overthink this. Don't sit there and stress out over Anthony's profile and will he buy a press release? Won't he buy a press release? I don't know if he'll buy a press. I mean, that's stupid. Just do what I said and let the guy figure out whether he's interested or not. In other words, get into about 20 a day of these outgoing requests, okay, where you're sending that. So right here where I'm saying sending safe message, about 20 of those a day. That's a great rate. You do that for really a short amount of time, you're going to start landing deals. You're going to start selling press releases, and especially if you have other products to sell, you're going to start upselling people. And we talked about in the marketing about getting into video press releases and stuff like that. Well, you're looking at a $2,000 or $3,000 payday per client you land there. So plus the add-on for the video marketing, YouTube marketing, video distribution, all of that stuff. You can you can simply ramp this up into a very, very nice income if you will just stay focused on this one thing. Okay, this one thing. If you will do that over and over and over and over again, and don't get deviated. You ever see you don't see this too much, and I'm not old enough to where I saw this too much when I was a kid, but you ever like, I don't know, go to like an old historical city or something, and they have the horse-drawn carriages, and the horse has these things on each side of his head called blinders. And the reason for blinders is so that the horse can only see straight ahead. Horses' eyes point out to the side. Okay, they're not predators. Their eyes point out to the side, right? They have an amazing field of vision. But if you're on a wagon, you know, with a horse, you don't want the horse all distracted by junk going on the side. You want the horse moving forward, just paying attention to what's straight ahead. That's what you have to do to yourself. Yeah, Rick, I'm not really sure what that comment meant. I'm sure it meant something. I just can't quite fit that in. So if you want to explain that a little bit, then I can't even tell if it's a question or just a statement. But then I'll be happy to read that out because you know, it's probably very, very good. So that's how you do LinkedIn. Nothing happens until you happen, right? Nothing happens until you get off your butt and go to work. That's how you get off your butt and go to work. I just showed you how to do that. Now, network meetings work essentially the same way. Okay, so, and you have, according to where you live in the world, you have a ton of places to find network meetings. And in the United States, there are, and then I think this even exists in Europe. And if for some European countries, I've had people tell me equivalents of this, and I can't remember the URLs, honestly, because I just use this for myself. But we have meetup.com, okay, which is basically a platform that where people advertise, I mean, it's free, where people advertise physical meetings that you can go to. You can sign up and go to them. So you can actually create a meetup if you want to. You don't need to do that. And there's a world of them. I have really no idea why these are all in my feed. I get a lot of junk in my feed. Okay, referrals are us. Okay, we typically have over 30 attendees each week, so bring plenty of business cards. Okay, you got 18 networkers going. Let's just see where this is. Alpharetta, Georgia is a little far away from where I live. This is apparently a BNI meeting, which works a little differently. And I'm not going to take all your time and sit here and read this. Yeah, okay, so basically I'm guessing this is a BNI meeting and they're trying to get more people into this meeting. Again, BNI works a little, oh yeah, Ty. Ty, we're getting to BNI next. BNI rocks. I mean, guys, BNI is the Cadillac of these things, okay? But, so this is a BNI advertised on Meetup, but, you know, what you need to do is you need to request to join. Once they let you in your thing, okay, you create a profile, request to join, they let you in the thing, and then you can start just looking at their calendar and doing exactly the same thing that I told you to do here on LinkedIn, except you're not going to be doing it. You're not going to be going to 50 BNI meetings a day, right? Like I told you to reach out to 50 people a day. You know, you probably, according to your schedule, whether you have a real job or whatever, going to 1 or 2 a week, okay? But network meetings, darn it, sorry about that. Let's go down here. Go to X per week consistently. I nearly failed spelling when I was in elementary school. Whatever it is, the more the merrier, right? I mean, look, consistency is the key. Go to at least 1 a week, all right? If you live, now look, if you live in the middle of ranching Jesus Christ, if you live in the middle of ranching country in Montana, where your nearest neighbor literally is 50 miles down the road, then I guess you can't do this too well. But I mean, how many people in advanced countries live in areas like that? And if you do live in areas like that, guess what? Just sit on your butt all day and do LinkedIn, and you're going to be fabulous if you will do this consistently. However, most of us live in fairly populated areas, right? I mean, most of us are in big to medium-sized cities, and in big to medium-sized cities, guess what you got? You've got meetup meetings, you've got BNI meetings, you've got a chamber of commerce. I mean, most every county in every state in the United States has its own chamber of commerce. So do most cities. You get in Atlanta, we got many chambers of commerce, many overlapping chambers of commerce. Rick, hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. That's true, but I'm gonna talk to you about that when I get over to BNI. I want to explain how it works to people. So what you need, this may be confusing. This is Meetup. It says BNI because this guy, Pete Brown, who's the organizer, put his BNI meeting on Meetup, probably because he wants to get new blood in the door and they're going to sign up for BNI. But anyway, so yeah, Peachtree Corners actually, that's odd. That's actually not that far away from me, but that sounds Alpharetta. But anyway, so what you want to do is you want to get proactive. You want to schedule one meeting a week at least, and you want to start going to those meetings. Make yourself a business card. Start going to those meetings. Ty just said, let me read out what Ty said here. Hang on. Yep, you said in one of your trainings, I'm quoting Ty, you said in one of your trainings, go to BNI network meetings every week for a year and do the LinkedIn strategy for a year and your business will soar. So far in only a few weeks, I can't disagree. Amen. Hand on a stack of Bibles. If you will do this, if you will just do what I told you to, if you will focus on meetup meetings and BNI meetings, and the big word, notice it's capitalized, is consistency, okay? If you will do that, you're never going to have another problem getting clients again after really just a few weeks of doing this. But if you will do it consistently for a year, and if you've got a good back-end program where you're upselling people to monthly recurring stuff, I tell you what, you can quit networking, you can quit prospecting after a year, and for a really long time you can just be living off of your referrals and off of people paying you monthly for stuff. This is why I don't personally need to have a activate that to premium very often. It's only when I want to punch up my business. Okay, so Ty, you made another comment that I want people to hear. Ty says, went to my second BNI meeting last week and was able to connect to 20 members. Most need help with internet marketing. Amen. That's really, really true. Now, so I'm here. Let's go back here so we get away from the BNI logo and that. I have no idea what this is. I mean, so, look, Meetup is a huge site. They got like 40 bazillion Meetup meetings. Some of them, look, here's one for meditation. Okay, I actually meditate, so that's probably why this is in my feed. That's not going to do me any good business-wise. It's there just for personal reasons. But I have no idea what this Cross Connect is. First time I've seen this, where content and coaching connect. Okay, do you think people who create content and people who are interested in coaching might need press releases? I can guarantee if they want to if they want to build their businesses, they absolutely need press releases. Okay, so here you have a meeting. You go here, you connect business cards, and you do exactly the same thing, okay? You just repeat this whole process, except you do it in person, okay? So it goes a lot faster, right? Let's say you go to, and all of these meetings are very structured. I mean, the whole goal with the meeting is to get people to talk to each other and connect with each other. So you don't have to really know how to do that. All you have to do is just follow what everybody else does, okay? So you go. You dress up, you look like $1 million. Ty's already heard this because I always say this part. You look like a player, you look like a pro, you look like an adult, right? And I mean a player in the business sense, okay? So, and you walk up to somebody, shake their hand, and you start talking about them, only politeness, right? Hey, Mary, see you're with a bank. What do you actually do with the bank? Oh, that's very cool. And then Mary will respond, well, Lee, what do you do for a living? Well, I blah, 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 blah. One of the things I do is I help businesses just like yours with online marketing, specifically public relations, press releases, stuff like that. You'd be surprised at the number of people that say press releases, that's pretty cool. Actually, we were kind of like, I was talking with, my whatever, the VP of marketing, the other person, that we kind of needed to start doing more of that. Do you have any examples of stuff that you've done? Now you're off to the races. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to drop by your office sometime, sit down, talk to you about it. You make an appointment. You go over there. You take, if you got my done for you material, you take my presentation, because that presentation flat out rocks, guys. You take that presentation, you present it to this person. You close the deal on a press release. You upsell her to monthly press releases. Okay. That's how you do that, guys. Okay, so you're essentially doing the same thing. You're essentially doing the same thing in person that you're doing on LinkedIn. Some of the little details are a little different because it's in person and we have certain social norms involved and stuff like that. But that's how you do it. It is not hard. Hang on, I had a couple of comments and then I'll go to BNI and thank you, Ty. I really, really do appreciate that. I wish I had this training 2 years ago, Lee. I still go over your local client machine. So many actionable ideas you give us in that course. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys, this stuff is, look, it's not easy to get your butt in a car and go to a meetup meeting every week. I got it. Okay, it's not easy to sit on your butt for an hour or two a day and build out your LinkedIn account and message people. I find that so much more palatable than not having business, or God forbid, because I hadn't had one in a really long time, having to have a job. Okay, I mean, I have worked for myself for a long time now. That's a much better thing. I mean, would I rather be sitting around fishing? Well, maybe so, but I don't really have that option right now. Besides, I personally really enjoy helping businesses with their marketing. I get a huge charge out of that. Yeah, Rick. Yeah, absolutely. You know, Rick's just basically pointing out with another wonderful comment. I think what you're basically saying here is don't stress out too much about who you're connecting. We're going back to LinkedIn. Don't stress out too much about who you're connecting with. Just connect with a ton of people, because the more people, especially people in businesses that help other businesses, attorneys, CPAs, financial planners, or businesses that help other individuals, those kind of people, they're connected with a ton of people. They're also really good networkers. That's how they get business. Connect with a lot of those people, you'll grow your indirect connections much faster. Awesome. Let's check this out. Here's BNI. Now, meetup meetings, they're all over the board. I mean, you saw one for meditation, you saw a bunch for business. They're all over the map. They got there's no standardization here. It's all cool. You just have to read where they are, find out where they are, and just go to them. Quit thinking about it so much. Just schedule one a week and go to it. If 1 week you hit one that's a freaking gold mine, wonderful. If the next 2 weeks you hit a couple that are just duds, fine. You know, it all averages out if you go to a bunch. I said go to one a week. That gives you 50 a year. If you will do 50 a year. So Ty went to a BNI meeting, collected 50 business cards. So if you go to 50 a year, and I think you said 20 business cards, my bad. So if you go to 50 meetings a year and you just collect 20 business cards per, that's 50 times 20, which is 1,000. That's 1,000 connections with real, live, honest to God business people who need stuff, guys. They need stuff. And they're used to talking to people, and they're great networkers. That's why they're going to those meetings. You're connecting with people who are super connected, and great thought, Michelle. I'm going to give you 2 answers to that. You're connected to people who are really super connected. I mean, you're connected to people who are out there making stuff happen. 1,000 people. If you, the reason I say do this for, you're going to get business very soon, okay? But if you will do this for a year, as Ty is doing it, and Ty actually heard me and listened and is actually doing this, and Ty's business is growing. So if you will do this for a year out of 1,000, but just think if you had 1,000 business cards, and if you're really smart, You're going to put them in an autoresponder and you're going to intelligently, not every day. This is not internet marketing. This is business marketing. It's vastly different. You're going to like send them a little newsletter once a month, not anything more than that. You're not going to beat them over the head with stuff. Okay. I mean, if you will follow up with those people, and you can use an autoresponder to do that, you got 1,000 people in an autoresponder, 1,000 businesses, and you're intelligently following up with them with some little quote unquote newsletter once a month with a call to action. Hey, hey, this is Michelle. Thought you might be interested in this, blah, 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 blah. A little article about something. You can even just link to the article, and then Michelle's got her contact information. I can help you with X, Y, and Z. If you need help with that, let me know. Phone number, website, link to the email address, etc. You're going to get a lot of people over time just contacting you back and saying, "Hey, Michelle, been on your list a while. Really enjoyed the stuff you send me. Yeah, we're actually talking about ramping up some marketing, and was wondering when you had time to actually come over to." I'm saying come over to the office because these meetup meetings are local. You got to physically get there, right? Was wondering when you might have some time to, call me or come over to the office and let's sit down and talk about it. You will be amazed at what you get out of this. Amazed. It ain't going to happen until you start building it. Okay. So it's not going to work on its own. Michelle says, do you need a business card? I'm going to give you two answers, Michelle. One's yes and the other one's no. Okay. I know that's not going to be helpful, but I'm going to give you a sort of both of the ways of doing this, Michelle, I'm going to tell you will work fine, and they're both extremely professional. It's just one's a little slicker than the other one, okay? So the unslick way is, yes, you need a business card. Because what people are doing there is people hand out business cards. And if you go like Ty went to a BNI meeting, and I'm going to talk about how BNI works in a second. If you go to a BNI meeting and you want to join that particular meeting, which does cost some money, you want to join that particular meeting and go to them over a period of time, yeah, you need a business card because you're going to be basically deepening your relationship with the same 20, 30, 40, 50 people over time. That's the way BNI works. So yeah, you need a card for that. But if you're just going to hit a meetup meeting, and it's, let's say it's this meeting and you don't know whether you're going back, you just want to go talk to these 12, they'll probably have more people than that by the time the meeting actually rolls around. It's on April the 3rd. You just want to talk to whoever's there. You don't have to have a business card. You can have a business card. That's what most people do. A little slicker way of doing this is to quote unquote forget your business cards, to leave them on your desk in your office. Just pat your lapels and say, "Man, I'm sorry, lapels, guys. You're dressed sharp, right? Man, I'm sorry. Totally forgot my business card. Can I have one of your business cards, please?" And I'll tell you what, I'll just email you my business card. Would you mind? If you do that, okay, and then you go around and collect everybody's business card again. I mean, it's not really sneaky. It's just slick. Okay. Then what you do, guys? Then what you do is, now you have an excuse to email people back immediately. You have an excuse to call people back. Let's say I met this guy, Gerald, okay? And let's say I quote unquote forgot my business card. Gerald says, "Hey, here's my business card. Oh man, I left my business." And you're not lying. You actually did leave your business cards at your office on your desk. It's just you did so purposefully instead of just randomly forgetting. "Sorry, Gerald, I'll leave my business card back at the office. You mind if I have one of yours?" Super awesome. So then you call Gerald back the next day. Okay, this is a little pushy, and you got to do it with very politely, and all of y'all know how to do this. Call him back the next day and say, "Hey, Gerald, this is Lee. Met you at the meetup meeting yesterday. Yeah, that was a really awesome meeting." So you start out talking about something easy, right? You start out talking about something easy, and then you can, if Gerald just kind of, wants to talk a little bit, then you can warm up to your pitch. Okay, in other words, you can go ahead and make the pitch. All right. "Well, Gerald, look, I just called you out of the blue. I'd forgot my business cards yesterday. Just wanted to let you know that, I'm I've emailed you my information. By the way, Gerald, I know we talked to a ton of people yesterday, but I help businesses with yours with public relations stuff and with online marketing stuff like that, and just want to make sure you knew what I did, and if there's anything I can help you with, just sort of let me know. Now, you can polish that up, put that on your own words, but you're just going to leave that there as sort of a pregnant pause. What you're doing by quote unquote forgetting your business card is you're creating a reason to call them back tomorrow. Okay. Emailing them your business card, calling them back tomorrow. You're just creating more of a reason to do it. Again, it's slightly manipulative. I do this. I don't mind. Okay. I've been selling stuff since I was 12 years old. I really don't mind stuff like this. The products that I sell businesses are so remarkably helpful to their bottom lines that I feel obligated to do whatever it takes to get my services in their world because I'm that good. Okay. If this is a little too pushy for you, like godly, I mean that's just like that's a little too pushy, ooh eek and stuff like that. Then don't do it. It's fine. Just take your business cards and exchange business cards. Okay, put them in your autoresponder. But if you're a good salesperson, you're going to be calling them back some periodically, not every month. So maybe once a quarter. I mean, it's going to be hard to call 1,000 people once a quarter by the time you get to the end of the year, right? So at that point, you have a different problem. But when you get started out, you want to follow up some, or at least follow the ones that look like fairly hot leads. BNI works differently from these meetup meetings in that you go to a BNI meeting, they will allow you to go they'll allow you to go one just to check it out, but usually they'll allow you to go to a couple of them to see if you want to quote unquote join that meeting, at which point you pay a yearly fee to join. It varies wildly according to the geographic area you're in, but it's a few $100, okay? You pay it for a year, and then you go to that meeting, not necessarily with the intention of selling something to those people sitting in that meeting, but with the intention of turning them into your own referral network. So BNI works a lot like an indirect connection at LinkedIn. So you go to BNI to meet people to refer business to you. BNI is beautiful because they will actually teach you how to do this. I mean, these guys are master networkers. And to have an army of 20 or 30 or 40 people who know, Ty, I'm going to use your name on this, who know all about Ty, all about what Ty does. Ty's sent, Mike over here a little business. He sent Brenda over there a little business. BNI is all about leads going around from one person to the other person. I mean, so they'll have a banker. Rick mentioned that they only allow one of a certain type of business per BNI meeting. Yeah, that's actually true. So if you're in a BNI meeting, if you want to target a BNI meeting for you to go to, and if there's somebody there who does what you do, what you guys do is actually so flexible. I mean, it's not like you're a corporate attorney and you can't pretend to be a pastry chef, right? I mean, you can't do that. But what you guys do is so flexible, you can just massage the name a little bit most of the time and at least get in the door. You can definitely go see them. Okay, you can definitely go see them for a couple of times. But you'll probably want to join one where where there's not another person like you. That's going to be pretty easy to do. It'd be harder to do if you're an attorney, like if you're a divorce attorney, there are like 40 million divorce attorneys, right? If you're a divorce attorney, that may be harder to do, okay? But for stuff we do, I mean, it's still very new. There's not a lot of people doing it, and there are not a lot of people doing it seriously. Finding a BNI meeting where you are the only person doing that's not going to be that hard, okay? And it is doing it the BNI way. I mean, ideally, if you really want to leverage this whole thing, you really want to crush it, and you're just tired of screwing around, or you want your freaking business built like now, you will go to one meetup meeting and check out a few BNI meetings and join a BNI meeting near you, just because you're going to be going there every week. Okay, you will do that. Another example, excuse me. Another example of this same thing, and I'm not going to hunt and peck through here because it's the websites are going to be all different according to where you live, the specific chamber of commerce. Uh, Hang on, Andrea. The specific chamber of commerce, how they work things. They're all, it's the same idea, but they're all slightly different. Your chamber of commerce, and if you live in a city like I do, I live in Atlanta, it's a city of 6 million people. We got 40 zillion chambers of commerce at various, local levels, within driving distance of me. You find a bunch of chamber of commerces and you treat those very much like the meetup meetings. You go to their get-togethers. You collect business cards. You can use my little slicker way of doing that. If that doesn't bother you too much, you can. But anyway, you do the same thing, guys. You do the same thing. If you want to really crush this network thing, go to one meetup meeting, one chamber, and you live in a big enough city, go to one meetup meeting, one chamber of commerce meeting per week. That's 2 meetings. Check out a BNI, join it. Go to that every week. You're going to 3 meetings a week. On the other time that you have, you're doing the LinkedIn prospecting thing. You will crush this business. End of conversation. By the way, guys, you will crush any other business you want to crush because it's all the same. The like little secret that everybody, I guess, doesn't know, but it's actually true, is all sales works. You're a salesperson, number one, but all sales works exactly the same way. Talk to a ton of folks, qualify them, present to the low-hanging fruit, spend most of your time on prospecting, make sure that when you're actually talking to somebody about buying something, that you're talking to somebody who can pay you money now. Okay? There you go. Andrea, the replay, we started out actually looking, because I had a question, the replay, if you will log into here, okay? And if you will actually see the product here, and if you go to this tab where it says bonuses, then right here will be replaced with the replay. And Andrea, I'm guessing you got on here a little late. So did I. I had just massive, I want to pull my teeth out with pliers, technical problems for about 30 minutes before the webinar started. I apologize for that. There's not a thing I can do about it. It's just life in the big city. Thank God we have this wonderful webinar technology that I can talk to people all over the world at the same time and help you build your businesses. It ain't perfect, but then it's a whole heck of a lot better than things used to be before we had the internet, right? So that's how you do it, guys. I picked 2 of the 4 ways I told you to get business, because these are really the ones that are the most active, okay, and the ones that are most ongoing. LinkedIn and network meetings. I showed you how to cut through the mustard, exactly what to do, when to do it, how often to do it, what to do. The ball is in your court. It matters to me. I want you to succeed. I don't have to create. Yeah, I get well paid for what I do, like really well paid, but I could do other things with my life. I'm getting slightly old, so I choose to do this because A, I get a lot of money doing this, but also more importantly, I get to affect other people's lives. And so I would like nothing more than Ty on here is obviously taking some of my trainings and actually running with it. And guess what? Getting business from it. It always works. You got to work it though. Okay, and I've told you what to do. The ball is now in your court. I have sat here and talked to Blue Streak. So Andrea, the replay will be in the members area under bonuses. Andrea, give me about 24 hours. Usually it is a lot quicker than that, but that's what I can usually count on to get the replay up there. It may be up there in a few hours. I don't know, but the replay is in the members area or will be in the members area, and please look at the replay. Wow, a ton of stuff, Thank you, Ty. Local business client machine. Ty says everybody ought to have this. Well, let's just make that easy. Ty, you're telling a guy whose dad was a salesperson and who's been selling stuff for 12 years and considers himself kind of like a sort of a chronic born salesperson. You're telling me I should tell people about something that they can get that's going to do them a ton of, that's going to help them a ton, and is actually not very expensive. And this is my local business client machine. Ty got this. Ty also bought Press Release Empire, and local business client machines. Same general idea, but shows you how to actually sell, no BS, but shows you how to actually sell not only press releases, but Google My Business stuff, websites, and other stuff. I'm going to put that in the chat here. And if you haven't bought this yet, feel free to buy it. Okay, just feel free to buy it. I think it's one of the best products I've ever made. And I have created over 200 products to help people like you learn this stuff over the years. I mean, I quit counting at 200. That seems like a ton. I love doing this. I love teaching, and I especially love it when people actually take this stuff and actually do it, because when you actually do it, it actually does work. Virtually guaranteed 100% of the time, it actually does work when you work it. And I love nothing more than hearing from you. Hey, Lee, I actually did that. Guess what? It's actually working. Steve, that's all in the, I don't want to really repeat the training here. Where to publish the press releases is all in here. I mean, it's literally, I can point you to the, one thing I don't like about coaching webinars is when people just, let me find press release, Genie. Publishing your press release, go look at this. Go look at this. Ty says it's not a $1,000 course. Ty, it probably should be. Yeah, Rick, I'll mention those too. Thank you so much. But look at this, Steve. It's all right there. I don't like to just sell you training and then on coaching stuff or any kind of bonus webinar. I know this is not something you paid for, but any kind of bonus webinar. I don't like to repeat the stuff that you could have learned just going through the training. I just don't like to do that. I like to add value. So with that in mind, Steve, look at this. It will answer all your questions. Ake says he installed Proposal Genie yesterday. Awesome, buddy. Awesome. That is an awesome piece of software. I use that in my own business. Rick wants me to mention that this goes back to LinkedIn. There's an acronym called LION, L-I-O-N, and that is LinkedIn Open Networker. Some people advertise themselves as lions, and basically what they're saying is they will accept any connect request coming into them. Okay, so they're very, liberal, open-minded about that. They're not going to get all squirrely about, well, do I really know you? Do I want to connect with you? They're just going to accept them all. And quite frankly, virtually everybody on LinkedIn does this. If someone doesn't accept a connect request, and I didn't see it when I didn't accept that guy's connect request earlier in the webinar, but usually LinkedIn will give you a chance to, LinkedIn itself will ask you if you know this person or if you don't know this person. And every now and then some genius will say, well, I don't know them, just out of some sort of not understanding how things work. And that's what we call an IDK, which means I don't know, IDK. And if you get enough IDKs, LinkedIn will throttle down your account for a while and get your attention so that you know not to send out so many connect requests before. I find that on average when I connect, and this gets back to the first part of the webinar. So Andrew, if you didn't see this, it's in the first part of the webinar. I find that when I keep my outbound connect requests to brand new people, okay, to obviously they're new because I'm not connected with them. When I keep that to 50 or less, I have no idea how many IDKs I get, but I'm sure I get a few every once in a blue moon. Okay, but LinkedIn, I mean, it's below their threshold because that's really the thing that LinkedIn's going to look at and say, wow, he's really, spamming the system here. We're going to have to keep him from doing that, right? That's really what they're measuring there is the number of IDKs that you get. So if you can avoid this whole IDK problem if you will build up, we talked about it, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way up to, 45 or 50. And don't do exactly 48 every day. Okay, so you do 40, 42, 50, 46, 45, which is kind of, that's kind of normal anyway, because you get tired of those little things and you figure, I've done about 40 some odd. So the numbers are going to vary a little bit. It's going to look very generic, right? And oh, it was in the bottom left, Rick. Yeah, Rick says the IDK thing was in the bottom left. When you run a GoToWebinar, you have all these boxes which I get to see, but that you don't get to see because they help me communicate with you and run the webinar and all that stuff. And it's probably covering that up, so that's why I didn't see it. But anyway, my point is 50-ish, varied a little bit. Don't stress out about it too much. If you do 48 for 3 days, running at the same number, 48, nobody's going to care. That will keep your IDKs low enough so that LinkedIn won't care, and you're going to be just fine and build out your account fast. And then you can go back. If you want to use the top linked thing, use top linked. Ty, you're going to have a great business really fast because you're doing exactly what you need to do. And Ty is actually talking about local business client machine here, because one thing that I do is that I think makes me super successful is I just sell businesses what they already understand and want to buy. One thing that businesses already understand and want to buy is press releases. Another thing that businesses already understand and want to buy is indeed websites. Businesses constantly want to upgrade the look and feel of their website. That's a wonderful product, and in Local Business Client Machine, among other products, I show you how to sell websites. But Ty says so many people need websites. Going back to Local Business Client Machine, there was this product right here, which is at the URL that I put in the chat. Just the past month, talking to people from my church and a few friends, amazing what happens when you tell people what you do and how you can help them, underscoring the word help, and their business. Amazing indeed. I have gotten more business standing around talking to people, ordering food, noticing, because I eat out a lot, ordering food, noticing that the owner, the guy who looks like he's actually the owner of the restaurant is actually there, and just saying, hey, I hadn't been to this restaurant before. You own this place? Yeah, I'm one of the owners. How are you? Hey, my name's Lee. How are you? What's your name? My name's Bob. Awesome, great to meet you, Bob. Well, look, I know it's lunchtime. Here's my card. I help businesses like yours with internet marketing. We do a lot of stuff that you might be interested in. Take that, go to my website, take a look at it. If you don't have a website, it's no big deal. Be very happy to sit down and talk to you about how I might could help you sometime. You'd be amazed at the number of people that are going to say, yeah, I can't talk to you during lunch, but I would be more than happy to, if you want to come in here like around 3 or 4 o'clock, I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you for a few minutes and see what you got going. You'd be amazed at the number of people that will do that just by ordering food, just by going and eating out. In other words, what Ty's saying, if you will open your mouth and tell people what to do, business will literally fall into your lap. That's not a joke, okay? Back in the, I've got a ton of ideas here in Local Business Client Machine. I don't want to give everything away. Ty, thank you for the great prompts, but there are many, many other ways of doing this, and we go over all this here, and this stuff actually does work 100% of the time when you do it. Okay, so, great stuff. Thank you so much for listening to me. I deeply apologize about technical issues. Again, I can't help technical issues, but I'm kind of a stickler for starting on time. I didn't start on time today. It happens, Oh well. You bet, Ty. Thank you so much. Any questions I can answer? Anybody's got any quick questions that, gosh, I can't proceed without asking Lee this one question. You got my attention right now. So I'm going to give you a second to pop in a question into the chat. If not, I'm going to power this down. Andrea and everybody else, give me a day to get it up in the members area. Thank you, Rick. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Give me about a day to get it up in the members area. Usually, I can get it up a little faster, but, I'm having a very bad technical day. So maybe I just need to shut everything down and try tomorrow. I've forgotten who it was. Somebody said it was the blue moon. Ake, happy Easter to you, buddy. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for buying the product. And we got some really cool stuff coming out in the future. Some more LinkedIn stuff coming out in like the first or second week of May. This is really, I mean, it dovetails very nicely with both Press Release Empire and Local Business Client Machine and other LinkedIn stuff that we've sold, other stuff that has to do with LinkedIn. So that's coming out. It's about LinkedIn content marketing is what it's about. Got, you know, lots of cool software that comes with it. And if you're in Texas on the Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May, big celebration in San Antonio, and Cliff Kerrigan is having a weekend event there, which is very affordable, and I'm one of the speakers. Matter of fact, I'm one of the headliner speakers. So if you want to combine a cool little vacation with learning a ton of really cutting edge stuff, come on over to San Antonio. And I would love to meet you and hang out. I'm going to be available all weekend. You will learn a massive amount from me and everybody else that will help you along your journey of building your business. That's what I know, guys. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.